Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, Steve Vai.
Hi, very nice to see you all. Thank you. Happy to take any questions.
Hello there, Steve. How are you doing?
Very good.
This is Eamon from Eon Music in Ireland here, if you don't mind filming this. My first question to you today is, the world was obviously impressed with Teeth of the Hydra. It was a superb piece of work. The video was jaw-dropping. Clearly you haven't played it live yet, and I'm not going to berate you for that because it looks like a very difficult piece to play. Were you tempted to try it live, or even to have the band perform the pieces? Or maybe you didn't want to bring that beautiful Hydra guitar out online?
Well, I was absolutely determined to bring it out. That was part of the plan. But what happened was, about a year and a half ago, I had to get my shoulder fixed. And it takes like a year to heal. And halfway through it, I had another tear, and I had to get it fixed again. But before that, I wanted to complete the Teeth of the Hydra, the song and the video. So the song took about 6 weeks to carve out, you know. And then I knew I had to make a video because that's where all the enjoyment in watching, you know, seeing it. So it was difficult because it's a very heavy instrument, and I use a strap that goes around my waist, so all the weight is on your legs, and it doesn't move like a guitar, you know. It doesn't go this way or this way, and if you move, the Hydra thinks you want to go all the way over there, you know. So I struggled through getting the video complete, and 3 days after I shot the video, I had the shoulder surgery, and that was 3.5 months ago, and I couldn't play the Hydra for this European tour because it takes like a year to heal. But I was absolutely determined to take it because I could play it, you know, absolutely.
That was my next question.
Oh yeah, I mean, there it is, you saw it, you know, and of course I'm disappointed I couldn't bring it, but I can't play it right now. But I'm expecting that in the fall, I should be ready to go. And I'll probably be doing another swing through Europe in 23, and I hope to have it then too. Thanks. Sure would have been great at this festival, huh? Yeah.
Hello, Steve. My name is Neil. I'm from London, from Total Rock. Great to be catching up with you here. Following on from that question, the music you play can be very intricate, leaving aside the Hydra. You play in different conditions. Some countries are extremely cold. It's very warm here in Hellfest. Are there any parts that sometimes you just struggle with live because it's either freezing cold or the fretboard is sweaty?
Absolutely. That's why I have a fan. I tell everybody that I have the fan because it blows your hair back and makes you look cool, because that's what they think anyway. But no, it's to keep your hands dry. Like last night we played in Lille, and it was really hot, and it definitely affected a couple of things. But you know, I played in the snow, and it's a challenge, you know. But after 42 years of touring, you just do it. If it's a battlefield condition, then you're a soldier, you know. Most of the time, it's just heaven in a cup. Sometimes it's hell.
Hellfest.
Hi, this is Liz from Twin Music. This is our signature question. If you could have any band perform one of your songs, which band would it be, which song would it be, and would it be in your style or their style?
If I had my choice of having any artist perform one of my songs, I would have Tom Waits do John the Revelator. I actually asked him. He gave me a very interesting answer. He said everybody has their own take on what, because it's not a song that I wrote, but I did an arrangement that was unique. And he liked it, but he said everybody that does this song has a particular approach, and he was thinking of doing it himself at one point, and my approach was very different than his. And he actually did. A couple of years after I released John the Revelator, he did a version that's very Tom Waits, so it was totally understandable. But boy, I'd give anything to hear him sing it on my version.
Hi, Steve. I'm DJ for BGP Music Live. How did you feel the spirit of the new album and the conception of the new album? The spirit of the new album, the conception. Can you tell? But
yeah, the spirit of my new record. Yeah. Well, you know, when you're young and you find something that you're really interested in, and for me it was the guitar when I was 11, 12, and I just never lost my interest. I focused on it my whole life. So if you do that, you're going to evolve what you're doing. It's just gonna continue. You're gonna go deeper and deeper, as long as you have the interest. And that's always been my interest. And that's why I get something like the Hydra at age 62, you know? So the spirit of In Violet is sort of like a culmination of this artist at this point in his career. So the spirit is uplifting. I try, even if I'm doing heavy music, I want it to have an energy in it that the people that resonate with what I do, because it's not everybody, obviously, the ones that do, they get it. You know, they get that energy. So the spirit is always one of finding the inspiration in a melody by becoming present with it. And this always feels good. It always feels like when you're creating, there's something in it that's you, uniquely you. And every artist here knows, and you know what that is. You know what that means. When you're not trying to sound like anybody, you've abandoned and completely abandoned any hope of the future for something to be wildly successful, so everybody knows how great you are. I don't think of any of that, because you just never know. And you second guess your own inspiration when you try to follow a trend, you know? So the spirit of In Violet is my spirit, my musical spirit. And I like my musical spirit to be entertaining for those that like it, fascinating, if I can do that, engaging, because that's what we do as entertainers, but uplifting. Just everybody needs a break sometime, and that's what I hope my music can bring.
Hi, Steve. I'm Valentin from...
I'm sorry, can you speak without the mask? Is that possible? Will you get arrested or anything?
Of course, no problem.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Valentin from Vector Magazine. As a guitar player, do you still get inspired by stuff you hear? Like, you hear something and you're like, oh, I have to learn that. Do you still get it? And if so, which was the last time?
Well, I'm constantly inspired by... I love the guitar, so I love watching people play it. And it doesn't even matter how good they are. I can go to a wedding, and you'll just see me standing there watching the guitar player. I just love it. And so you can't escape being influenced by anything that you see. It makes its way in there somehow. But remember, I was at the top of my game, basically, back in the 80s and 90s. So I've been able to see these new generations of guitar players that have evolved the instrument, the performance of the instrument to levels that I couldn't see when I was younger. It's just fascinating shit, you know, and I get it, I look at it, and the way it inspires me is not to try to play like that. That was never kind of in my wheelhouse. That's why I'm not a good blues player, really, or a great jazz or fusion or anything like that, you know. I'm not even an authentic rock player in a sense. I'm just the quirky guy, you know? So I can see the innovation, and that's inspiring for me to continue my own innovation, you know? Because I can't play with those guys. So I hope that answers it.
Hello, sir. Colin Farahani from Metal Talk London. I wanted to ask, because the reception of your latest album, Violate, and even Modern Primitive have been so overwhelmingly warm and positive from, you know, the fans, we've had everybody. How does it feel for someone who's been creating music for so long and weathered so many fads and trends, for that kind of music to come back into, not passion, but come back into such popular appeal and love from everybody?
It's all, I can speak on behalf of every artist here and everybody in this room when I say it's always nice to feel appreciated for your contribution. That's the engine of creation, because it inspires you to continue. So I was lucky with Inviolate because I kind of decided to get focused. Because a lot of my records from the past, they're very dense sometimes musically, and they got a little quirky stuff in between. I just like that stuff. But with Inviolate, I just wanted to go boom. And I just wanted to deliver unique ideas on the guitar, because we were in lockdown, so I had some time, you know? So you get things like Candle Power, Knapsack, Teeth of the Hydra. So I don't think it's that instrumental music is more trending now. I think it's that I made the right record that my fans were waiting for, you know, because I challenge them sometimes, you know. But this time I just say, okay, this is the best I can do. I know what you want. Here it is. And they responded.
Hello, Steve. Joseph over here from Loud TV. And you've obviously got a big tour coming up into North America, a lot of stops that you're doing.
Yeah.
And so that's obviously going to keep you very busy. However, you are also notoriously prolific. Is this something where, even when you're on tour, you're creating stuff? Do you have anything that you're working on currently, collaboration, solo work, whatever, that you do?
Yeah, actually, I'm working right now on pulling together a record that I recorded in 1991. I recorded it in 1 week with a singer. His name is Gash, and he had never sang before. And when you hear him, you won't believe it. It was a stream of consciousness, and it's a pure rock record. It's not, it doesn't have any of that quirky bi stuff. It's just, it's the kind of music that I wanted to listen to when I was a teenager riding my brother's Harley, because I was totally ensconced in the Harley culture. Matter of fact, when I finally ran into some money, I never really spent money on things, you know, cars and all this stuff. But the day that I realized I had enough money to buy a Harley, I bought 7. And so this record, back then all the yuppies were buying Harleys, and, you know, so I got a Harley, and I embraced the culture. And I wanted to hear a particular type of music. So I recorded this record, and I let it sit on the shelf for 30 years. So that's coming out. Yeah. And then I started working on a solo acoustic vocal record during lockdown that I got about halfway through and I had to abandon because I had to get shoulder surgery. Before I kicked off this tour, I was in Holland for 3 weeks recording the Metropole Orchestra, my orchestra music, and in August I go to Finland to record with the Tampere Philharmonic Symphony, big pieces. So when I'm done with that, I'll have 4 new orchestra records. And then I plan to resume working on the record that I stopped working on when everybody woke up and was in lockdown. And for any of the fans that know, it's the 3rd installment of the Real Illusions trilogy. So yeah, I like working. It's fun.
First of all, hello, Steve Vai. Hi. I'm Hasna from White Horse Radio. I had a question which is really deep. I hope you don't mind. First of all, I hope that you will get well soon. my question here is that you talk a lot of different inspiration, but have you ever tried more foreigner inspiration such as Arabic music or classical, talking such as Kulthum or Abdul-Hamid? It's more about my origin, but it's really interesting to go through other musical stuff that I never really seen before in metal music.
Well, I remember when I was young and I discovered Led Zeppelin. That's all I listened to. That was it. Nothing else was any good to me. Until my friend down the street, John Sergio, introduced me to Queen, Deep Purple, all the great, because I was secluded, you know, and then I realized the treasures of music that exist. So when I was going to Berklee College of Music, that's when it really opened up, because they had a music library. And I went in there and they had everything. This is when I could listen to all the classical stuff, all the Beatles records that I actually never owned, all the Stravinsky. So I highly recommend it. You know, some people, some musicians may create a sort of like a psychological barrier to going and listening to exotic music. But I have to tell you, it can inspire your music tremendously. I made a record called Alive in an Ultra World, and it was a fantastic project because I studied all the music. It's a double record. I studied, the idea was to create a live record with all new music, with each song written for a particular country based on the cultural music of that country. So I can listen to like traditional Japanese music and find the scales and find the keys, and then write a song and apply it to my rock band, and it feels Japanese, traditional. So I did that for, I don't know, 20 countries, and we recorded most of the time in that country. But doing that project, I had to study. So I was listening to deep, deep cultural music from all around the world, and it's amazing. Like in Turkey, I wrote a song called Incantation, and I got to listen to all this really intense Turkish music and Bulgarian music. Any metal artist that embraces something like that is going to be inspired to take their music to a different place. They just have to break away from the conditioned belief that they have to fit in.
Last question, second row. Thank you.
Hi, Steve. My name is Adeline. I'm from the Delhi Rock. And I wanted to ask you, because we were talking about spirit of music, influence, and you say it's been 42 years that you were touring and stuff like that. Do you think you have been influenced by the social media, the development of the internet? You said you have giving the right record at the right moment for the fans. So have you been influenced by during the lockdown?
Yeah, thank you. It's virtually impossible for any of us to not be influenced by social media. And it's the quality of what you're going to receive is based on your attitude. So when I use social media, of course, you know, texting and stuff like that, but being able to go online and get information is fantastic, you know, and to get inspiration, because what can't you find? You can find everything, you know. So, but what you're going to get out of technology is based on the attitude you have about it. For instance, when digital came along and people started losing money, artists, because digital was, because CDs were dissolving basically, other things came that were incredibly beneficial. You could be so much more independent. You could put your work up and not have to go through a lot of people to get a permission to do it. You just make it and put it up. And if you got the goods, it's going to rise. The cream always rises. And this is, I think this is a great thing. But there's three different attitudes that I've seen when it comes to addressing social media. One of them is, this sucks. This has destroyed my career. I can't make any money. And that's one attitude. attitude, and if that's your attitude, that is what you will find. The second one is, how can this serve me? How can this, because it's here to serve me, and I'm here to serve it, and I'm going to find the benefits on how this can help me. So that's a mindset. And if that's your mindset, you're going to find all that stuff. And then the third mindset is pertains to people who breathe very thin air, you know, and they look at the internet and they look at technology and they say, what doesn't it do that I want it to do? Because I'm going to make it do it. Very different mindset. So it's up to the individual to decide the quality of what they are going to get out of social media. And that doesn't just pertain to social media, that pertains to every single thing in your life. Only you can decide how you're going to react to it. That's only within your power, nobody else's. We believe it's in somebody else's power, but it's not. And the simple evidence of that is, who's controlling your thoughts? You. No one else will ever be able to do that. So who's in control of the quality of your life? You. Nobody else. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Merci, thank you.